Hello, sewing friends. I am the Hanley at Creating Hanley. Welcome back. This is part 3 now of the cap lock video, and here it is right here. And there is that cat. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today, or at least in this part. I'm going to show you what I'm doing right here. So, this is fusible fleece, and I cut it to the same size as my cap lock flimsy top. Say that real fast. And I made sure that I put the sticky side up. Well, it's not sticky, it's rough, because that's where the glue dots are. So you want to make sure the smooth side is down, because that's going to go against the backing. And we want this part to be fused to the cotton. Okay? Now, here's what else I did. In the other part, you saw that I created these little tie downs. Okay? Well, I created 2, but now I just cut them in half. So you just take both ends together, right? Take both ends together, straighten it out, right at the end, take your scissors, chop. Okay? Now, I just placed them right here and here. Now you want to make sure the raw edge, you can see that little sticky part up, the raw edge faces away. You want this to be caught in the seam allowance. So you want this part, this is the raw edge, to be away. You can let it hang over this border if you like, or you can leave it right flush against it. But do not make sure you have enough. Okay, is what I'm going to say. If you cut yourself short, if you only put it here, you can't even see that. Anyway, do you get my point? Okay, have it overhang, just to be sure. But I just put it flush with the edge of the border there, okay? Now I put the pins in place. I put all 4 of them in, and I put the pins in to make sure that these don't move. Didn't really measure them, I just kind of eyeballed them, but I did make sure these were in the same line, straight line, okay? Now I have my iron with the water in it. I can tell because I put paint. Yes, these 2 are exactly the same, but this is my old beat up one, and you can tell because this is a nice-ish surface. Obviously I have used it for ironing, fusible or glue, but this surface is really bad. So I only use, I try to use this one for fusibles. So which is what I'm going to do right now. This is hot, this is ready to go. So I'm just going to place this down and steam it. There we go. Steam. And I'm just going to steam this whole thing. I want this to stick down. So here's what we're going to do together. We're going to put the fusible on. We're going to steam this down. We're going to quilt on the top here. So that means we'll put those in place with stitching. Okay, and then maybe if we have time, I seem to run out of time, we will get to the quilt, the back. We'll put the backing on. So I'm going to actually take these out of place. All right, all that work. Just so I make sure that I have a good solid press, a good solid glue down with this. Now keep in mind, this project that I'm doing is for somebody who has no idea that they're getting this, and for a cat who probably doesn't really care. But I'm doing this extra fusible in the middle because I think it'll give it a little bit more substance. Not that the cat really needs like a big padding on there. I mean, she sits on the wood, bare wood, so she's happy with that. But it'll just add a little bit of substance and keep it maybe a little fresher. I don't know. And also, it won't fall apart in the, hopefully, it won't fall apart in the laundry. If I, you know, really make it worthwhile. Okay, so I'm going to take these out too. I'm really setting the steam high. It's not like you need a video watching me steam iron fabric. Nobody really needs to see that. But the other thing about, you see me wiping these crumbs away, that's because that's the calcium buildup in the water that's in here in the machine. And all these mineral deposits, that's the thing. These mineral deposits build up in the machine. I keep saying machine, the iron. And then eventually it breaks your iron. So that top is done. I'm just going to do a quick press on the back. And you can actually see the seam lines here, and you can see everything is laid down nice and flat, and all the seams are going in the correct direction, and everything just seems right. So I am very happy with that after all that. Oh, I guess I should tell you I squared this up too. After I put the border on, in the last video I showed you how I did one border. So I put all 4 borders on, and then I squared up the edges. They were a little bit wonky, so I squared up the edges, and now you can see it's coming together, guys. Okay, now to put these back on. See, this is all I did. I cut it. Just cut the end. Just cut the end. Now you probably have a top and a bottom. So the way I sewed this, I want this flip or flap on the bottom. So I want to make sure I put the right sides down, because when you sew it in and then it flips over, the right side is going to be up. Genius! Now I'm just going by this cat's ear because I know this is a 5-inch block, right? And I know this is a 5-inch block. So I'm just going to go by this cat's ear and this cat's ear. And so I'm just, again, the raw edge right on the border or hanging a little bit over. Line it up right along that edge. I'm going to pin it down so I don't lose the thing, the placement, and then there's that. Okay, same here. So again, I know the flap I want down, so I'm going to put the right side down in the same line as this 5-inch. So there's no, line. You just follow it straight here. That's pretty simple. And then, right? So these two are in the same line. If I put this down flat and I put this down flat, they are in the same line. So that means they will meet up underneath. So when it's done, it's going to hang over, right? And then you grab it from underneath and you tie it underneath. I don't know if you can see that. And then you tie it, right? That's how that works. Okay. Same thing on this side. But don't let them hang over. You want these to be in the center. Actually, we're going to still quilt this. So we're going to put some stitch lines on here, and then we'll quilt this top. Just to keep, just to keep the fusible. Because after a while, after a few washings, that glue may come off. that glue may wash out. I don't think it's going to stay on there permanently. So you still want to have stitch lines. Okay, again, find the top down. Line it up wherever you want. So if you're making the same three, so you could be making whatever project you want, but if you're making the same three cat blocks that I am, then I'm just using, so you know this is a 5-inch block, you know this is a 5-inch block, this is a 5-inch block. So if you just line it up in the same place, it's going to be in the same measurements, within the same measurements. You can, if you want to, get a ruler out and do that. Not really going to worry about it too much. Again, it's a cat, and I don't really think they care about, 1/4 inches if you're off by a little bit. Now, the people might, but they don't even know they're getting this, so they may not even like it. I hope they do. Okay, so I'm going to push this camera back, and we're just going to run this through real quick just to kind of lock that down. In fact, you know what? That pinning wasn't even necessary. You can just do this one at a time. I don't know why I'm taking all these unnecessary steps today. I think it's just the day. Like I said, somebody at work was let go at one job, and then the other job, there's some bad juju going around, so I don't know what the deal is, guys. Just some bad energy. And then my yoga class was canceled, not by me, not by the venue, but by the students. They didn't want to show up today. So, okay, that was a little weird. All of them canceled. I can't believe all of them did. Usually somebody shows up. Not even one. But the good news is that they told me that they weren't going to be there. Okay, so this side is done. They told me that they weren't going to be there, so that's good. I don't have to drive out there then to an empty class. That's great. You don't know how happy that made me. Yeah. Okay. Uh-oh. Again, with a thread here. What's the deal? I'm usually rethreading this thing on camera with you guys. Okay. There's that. And there's this. So, in an effort to save some time, I know I always say that, and it feels like it never happens. I may not do the quilt of the fleece with you. We might just do the top. So, see how those are stuck on there now? Those are nice and strong on there. Okay. So, if you go ahead and put the fleece on yourself, like a pillowcase style, you want to make sure that these straps stay on the inside, far away from the edges, okay? So, if you want to, you can even pin it on the inside. But you want to make sure that these stay on the inside, because if they happen to get caught up in the seam allowance like this, they hang over, that's going to get caught, and you're going to have a lot of seam ripping to do. All right, let's see if we can just kind of do something fun. I don't know. What should we do? Should we just follow the outline of the cat? Maybe let's do that. And then how do you want to do? You want to do straight stitching, or do you want to do zigzag? I kind of just want to do 2 things of straight stitch. I always do straight stitch. Well, I either do straight or zigzag. Alright, guys. Let's do it this way. So I'm using black thread in the top and black thread in the bobbin. I hope this doesn't get in your way. Alright, so I just ran right off the edge there with that string. Okay. Here we go. Alright, let's do some stitching. Or maybe not on the cat. Maybe we'll save that for the fleece. So when we get the fleece on, and then there will be a cat background on the fleece too. So let's just do another stitch like straight down. You don't really need to see me do this part. I know, it's kind of boring. And I do wish I had like the, editing capability. So if you're doing that, just go straight off the edge and you have these little pieces of, thread. Just do that, straight off the edge. Okay. Don't accidentally run over these. Make sure you flip them out to the side. So this is called Quilt As You Go, in a way, because you're just kind of quilting the whole thing. Oops. At like the time of your sewing. So you're quilting and sewing together in the same thing. Alright, now I'm just going to make one more stitch down this side. And that will frame the border. There we go. Okay, so all four sides are sewn in just a straight line. Super. Now here comes the tricky part. So again, these come in the center, and you can pin them down if you want. Okay. Adding the fleece. Okay, because I made it so much bigger, my idea, okay, this I wanted to be the back. My idea was to, you see that? Add these this way. And then, so you put right sides together, because this is going to be your back if you have a right side on the fleece. And again, make sure those are like locked in there. And then, be careful of these pins sticking up. And then what I wanted to do, which I don't know if I will be able to, but I've seen this done before. You take the edges and I think you sew the edges together like this. So there's a lot of extra fabric here. You bring this up, you sew the edges together. And then you bring, and then the extra back here. And then you would bring this together. Sew that edge together. This is already sewn together. So it creates a lot. Yeah, I'm not explaining it very well, guys. But anyway, I thought about doing that. Now, the thing with that is the corners. The corners are going to be goofy. So, what I'm going to need to do, I think, is measure and I got my white chalk, and I need a ruler. Alright, here's a ruler. So this was almost 11 inches, right? And this was 14, so I think I need like 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches. Okay. So here, 1.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 1.5 inches. Oh, if this will even mark. 1.5 inches. And 1.5 inches. And fleece is stretchy, guys. This may not work. And so that is my measurement on this side. And then I sew straight down this edge. I'm going to pin this. We're going to see if this could be an epic win or an epic failure. I don't know. It's going to be on video, so we're going to see. We're going to try. Ow, I keep stabbing myself with these damn pins. Taking these out. Taking these pins out. So be careful that you do not sew over your straps, your tie downs, if you're doing the same thing that I am. Okay? Alright. And then 1.5 inches on the other side, on the back side too. 1.5 inches in. Or you could pin it. Oh, that's a good place to put the pin. Alright. 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches. That's a better use of the pin. Okay. So roll this up. Take it over to the machine. And then just sew straight edge right there. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, we're going to try it. It's going to be an experiment. You'll see it right here. Now you can use a walking foot if you want, because now I have 2 layers of fleece. Like I have a fleece, this fusible fleece, and I have the black backing fleece. So I'm just going to stop at the edge there. And now this is sewn down. Take these pins out. Okay. Now let's try this side. Unroll this and then attach this to here. I'm just kind of shaking it out, making sure it's straight. And then I'm going to line this up, pull this up a little bit. Keep your tie downs out of the way. Right there. Okay. Guys, I'm really hoping this is going to work. Because it's midnight, of course. I'm always doing these videos at like the super late at night. Quarter-inch seam allowance. Okay. Now, this is what we've done. We've created this. Okay. So now you see like this backing is a little bit bigger than the front. This is going to create a fleece border. So I'm just going to take it over here and I'm going to look at it for a minute. Oh, I don't want this to fall. So I'm just going to look at what I've done so far. Okay. Now tuck these back in here. And I'm just going to sew. I want to have an even amount of fleece on this side and this side. So I'm just going to tap it out, kind of like, you know, shake it out. Keep it gentle. Float it out. All right. Okay, and now I believe I can sew these edges together. Make sure, if you're using tie downs, make sure your tie downs are not twisted right at the edge here. Okay, and now bring this up to the edge. And definitely use some pins. I'm going to pin the tie downs down. For sure. And then maybe one or two in the center here. Now, as far as the edges go, you want to leave some room here because you're going to need some turning space. Because your fleece is going to get bunched up. So I would leave maybe 2 inches or so at the edge. All right, I'm going to try this. Here we go. So right at this first pin that I marked, I'm just going to start sewing right there. Okay, 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to back tack a little bit just to kind of hold that in place. Now I'm going over the tie down. And again, a walking foot might be a good idea because you do have 2 layers of fleece plus the cotton. So far, this is going as planned. I don't know if it's a good plan, but we will find out shortly. Just going to pause right here, make sure everything is okay. Still following a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then right when I get to this other pin, stop. I'm going to back tack it a little bit just to not lose the, so right there. This is where I ended right here. So you can tell I have this hole right here. Okay, let's do the same thing to this side. This actually might work, guys. I think the hardest part is, oh, you also need a place to turn it around. So give yourself enough room to turn it inside out. Don't forget that part. You gotta turn it inside out. Okay. So try to keep it square. Bring it up here. Now I know it's not very mathematical. So I'm going to pin this in, and this is where I'm going to start, right at the pin. So I have this extra room where I can turn the thing inside out. Okay. This might work. It might get a little twisted. You know, a lot of my stuff does. A lot of my stuff gets twisted. Okay. Another pin. Right here at the tie, couple pins in the center. I'm actually really anxious. I'm looking forward to this. Let's see how it turns out. Okay. Again, you want to double, triple, quadruple check that your ties are out of the way. I'm just going to start right here at the tie down. 1/4 inch seam allowance, same thing, nothing's changed. Yeah, this is either going to be a fantastic win or a fantastic fail. And I could probably go a little bit faster, like speed up the sew stitch pace, but again, with both layers of fleece, it's kind of sticking. There's a lot of drag, so alright, that's where I had the pin. Alright, here we go. Here's the time of, we turn it inside out. So bring all the guts out. It's like a big sock. Okay. Now the corners should be unsewn. Oh, this might work out, guys. I don't want to get too excited yet. But it might just work. Alright, bring this back over so you can see. Hey! I think we have the beginnings of a cat bed here. Now you can tell I really have to. So the point is to like top stitch all the way around. So you're going to have to like roll it over like a burrito and top stitch down. But you know what? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I think it worked. Haha, you guys, I think it worked. And this is what I wanted. I wanted the fleece on the outside, little border like that. And on the edges, nice. And so do you see how these ties get caught in that seam allowance there? And then when I do the top stitch, that's going to secure that down even more. So this is fantastic. I love it. I love it. All right. This is working out great. Exactly how I anticipated, but you never know. Okay. So make sure you smooth everything out. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it's working out. Kind of just quickly, a little steam press, just kind of quick. Nothing too major. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't believe my idea worked. I'm so impressed with myself. Okay, so you kind of see how these corners are. They're all open. So we need to roll them up like a burrito and roll them over so that they match the top. Do you see how that works? And then you're going to have this like little rolled burrito on the edge here. You can, if you wanted to, make that like diagonal. So watch if you can. Fold that over like a present, like a gift, and then fold that again. Now the thing with that is it kind of makes a nice little corner there, but it also adds a lot of bulk right here. So you could trim some of this off. You could definitely trim some of that off. If you wanted to do that, or simply burrito roll it and sew. Of course, it's a lot of bulk right there, but again, it's for a cat, and so, you know, it doesn't matter to me. It's not going to matter to the cat. I think that's going to work out great, actually. I'm just going to leave it like this. A little burrito roll, and I can't believe that's going to work. Now, I'm probably going to add a zigzag stitch right along the edge here, just to make sure, because it is for a cat, and it will get, you know, used. Oh, speaking of cats, hi. Zigzag stitch, or you could use a, what's it called, a blanket stitch, and do that all the way across. All right, hey guys, we're almost done. This is awesome. Okay. So does that make sense? Let's see. Where are we on time? 39. No, we're done. All right. So that's all I'm going to do today because that's a lot of time. But you can see. Maybe you can see. It's black. I know. I should use other colors. Black on black. You can hardly see that. But you can see. Just stitch along here, stitch along there, and it'll be done. And then you can quilt the top so you have the two sides secured together, sandwiched together, and then you have a pattern. If you follow the cats, you have the cat pattern on the back too. That's awesome. So I'm going to finish this up right now, and maybe I'll show you another video on it, or maybe I'll just show you the finished product. But that's it. That's it, guys. We did it. We did it. We did it. Thank you for subscribing to Creating Hanley. I am the Hanley at Creating Hanley. Namaste. I appreciate you for following along. Here we go. Have a great day. Bye.